Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to a brand new episode of Boss Babes. I'm your host of the Lifestyle Sports Podcast. Again, the Boss Babes, it's not your typical sports show. Today, I could not be more thrilled to have on my girl. Our episode is all about freaking learning, growing, and women empowerment. Mattie Lynn Breaux. I first thought that her last name was Breaux because she's from the South, from Louisiana, and a lot of that, like the Southern accent, they E-A-U-X is spelled like O. So I'm like, am I right? Am I wrong? And she's like, no, it's like bro. So Mattie, let's first kick it off by talking about your last name for a sec.
Hey everybody, what is up? It's your girl Mattie here. And of course, so she was like, is it Breaux? And of course, I get it all the time. And she's completely correct. In Louisiana, everything ends in E-A-U-X. Go, Thibodeau, Boudreaux, Bateau, Gautreaux. But it's just like, what's up, bro? And I was just telling her this story. I had a guy recently say, oh, what's up, bro? And I was like, okay, either A, I just got friend zoned, or B, he's saying my last name. And I was like, what was that? He's like, well, it's your last name. I'm like, yeah, but that's not how we do it. Okay. You don't call a woman a bro unless you're friend zoning her. And that's it, period.
I could 100% agree with that. Like back in the day when I used to play sports, people would call me by my last name, both guys and girls. But I feel like the older you get, especially in your late 20s, early 30s, like we are, you're not calling us by our last names unless you're either A, you have gone to college with us and we're playing like a pickup sport together, or B, you're trying to friend zone us if you're a guy. Because if you're calling me Baldi or Baldessari, I probably don't like you if you're calling me by my last name. So girl, I feel you.
Girl, that is a tongue twister.
Yeah, my actual last name is Baldessari. It's so freaking Italian.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I like it, though. That's a good name.
It's super spicy. But I want to hop right into it. So you guys know Mattie Lynn Breaux. She's actually a former reality TV star. We're going to talk all about everything reality TV, growing up in Louisiana. Maybe she'll spill some tea on some guys that she's dated in the past, or maybe some people she's dating in the present. But first, we're hopping right into it. It's this girl's freaking birthday month. She recently just got back from Mexico. I loved following her social media because she was absolutely crushing it. Where the heck did you stay in Mexico? It looked like you guys were in a very secluded, gorgeous area with a pool. You were right by the beach. Let's chat about it.
Yeah, so of course I do a lot of social media influencing, etc. So I rented a villa in between Cancun and Playa del Carmen. And of course, with COVID and everything, I wanted it to be more private and more intimate with my friends and my team. And in the past, I set a goal for my whole team, which is my business manager, operations manager, makeup stylist, everyone. And I said, if we make this amount of money, I'd like to take everyone on a trip. So we'll work, play, and then celebrate my birthday. So I did just that. And so I got this villa in Mexico. And the first 4 days we got there, we did a shoot. So every day for 4 days straight, probably about 8 to 10 hours a day, just constant content creation. And then, of course, it ended. And I say I should have changed my Facebook status to in relationship with Don Julio. Because when I say your girl drank so much tequila, I can't even smell it right now because I will probably throw up. And then the birthday celebration started. And my whole team just completely... I had balloons, cake. I had every night we did a dinner, we went shopping, and I just couldn't be more grateful for where I am and the people in my corner. And just that private time, I am very keen on having alone time and resetting and recharging. And this place was perfect for it. And it was also my first time at a nude beach, which was incredible.
Wait, you went to a nude beach? We gotta talk about this.
It was so incredible. It was my first time. And basically it's a part of, like I said, in between Playa del Carmen and Cancun. It's a small little town. It's Puerto Morelos. And it's a nude beach because it's mostly home rentals and condos. So it's more private. And we walk out and I see, these older people and they're just, boobs out. Everybody's just living. And I'm like, this is incredible. So I throw my top off and I'm like, this is liberating. So we did that. And then, of course, the celebration for the birthday. And let's just say it was one for the books.
Literally, this sounds like a vacation that I need to take because, first off, I've never been to a nude beach before. Second of all, I've been to Cancun 2 or 3 times, actually hosting MTV Spring Break with some of my cast members. But when we were there, it was more us staying on the resort. So it wasn't like a private, secluded setup like you sound like you had for your birthday. And I love the fact that you said you guys drank a ton of Don Julio. I mean, girl, if you're in freaking Mexico, you better be drinking some type of tequila, some type of awesome beers. Like, that's what you're there for. Eating the tacos, enjoying the beach, getting a freaking tan like you have. I love the fact that you said you guys had some great dinners. You went shopping. What other excursions did you do? Did you go snorkeling or did you do any zip lining?
No, so we got a boat, but girl, it was so bad. We literally we got seasick. Everybody on the boat. I think one of us didn't get seasick. So at first they said, you know, it's going to be rough. And I was like, well, I mean, is it rough? We shouldn't go out, or how should it? And the captains were like, we can go out. We were the only boat on the water. The only boat. And like most of us got sick. We barely drank on the boat. So we did that. And then, no, basically just did dinners, shopping. We had a private chef come out. So he was able to cook us a lot of, you know, their dishes that they make in Mexico. So that was pretty amazing as well. But I'll be honest, after the 4 days of shooting, we were exhausted. So we slept in, we'd have our breakfast, we'd chill by the pool. It was more so just like relaxing and resetting and recharging. And then when the birthday hit, that's when everything else went a little crazy.
Well, happy birthday. And again, I'm so happy to have you joining me today. And Boss Babes fanatics, I am so thrilled to be having you guys listening to this podcast episode because it is all about freaking women empowerment, learning how to grow from situations, creating your own brand, how it was for this amazing woman to be freaking picked up at a beach party for her very first reality TV show. Stick with us. We are going to be talking all things TV, dating, starting her own brand, and so much more. But first, we have to get to know Mattie behind the scenes. I want to learn all about her childhood. I'm sure you guys want to know too, because when you guys watch people on TV, whether it be a pro athlete, an athlete's wife or girlfriend, or a reality TV star, you guys don't really know much about our childhoods and how we are and why we came to be the way that we are today. So Mattie actually grew up in South Louisiana. So she's a Southern girl. She had one sister. So I want to hear all about your hometown. And did you ever celebrate a Mardis Gras when you were in your teens or your 20s?
Okay, so first and foremost, I am from a small town called Gaines, Louisiana. I think population under 1,000. It's basically a road of about 3 miles long, full of sugar cane till you get to your first house. Like, if I were to take you with me, you'd be like, drop me off. I'm not coming down here. It's like one road in, one road out. If you pass a green light, you've passed up my whole town. So, of course, grew up there. I've always been, I guess you could say, a tomboy. I'm finally like personally growing out of that stage. But growing up, I did play t-ball to fast pitch. I was a pitcher. I played basketball. I was center. I played travel ball. I didn't play in high school, but I did play, you know, as a youngin' to my teenage years. And I was always into like riding 4-wheelers, riding bikes. I was always outside. I never was one to play with dolls. I'd rather be on my 4-wheeler in my camp, you would call it. We had a lot of land by the levee. So I would like clean it out and just stay in there. I did also have a horse, so I did a lot of horse riding. Family's everything to me. I mean, I come from a very large family. My mom's side's fairly small, but my dad is 1 of 9. So I have over like 31 first cousins. So I really didn't need a lot of friends because I had people who had to love me, which was pretty fun. And I would stay with, of course, my 4 cousins closest to my age. But, you know, just being outside, we did a lot of hay baling. So on Sundays, we'd go to my granny's, we'd help my papa. And like I said, just sports, of course, that had me fairly busy throughout the weekend. So my mom and my friends' parents always had me, especially with basketball. But I also did a lot of pageants. Of course, I always got first runner-up. I never won queen. And after this one pageant I won prettiest smile, prettiest, best poise, prettiest eyes, like basically every other thing you can win besides queen. And I didn't win queen. And I was like, how did I win all these medals and I didn't win queen? So I was like, that's it for me for pageants. But I also did a lot of like talent shows. I think I started in talent shows when I was probably 5 years old, just like singing songs, making up dances, anything I could do. I was never really shy. I was always up there and just ready to rock and roll. So that's a little brief history lesson about your girl.
I love it. I fully enjoyed listening to all of that. Having just come back from Louisiana, I actually went there back in February for Jess McCain. She was actually on a number of seasons of MTV's The Challenge. She recently got married. So my boyfriend and I actually flew down there, got to spend time in Louisiana, and did all of the things that we could do, including going on a gator tour. We did not see any gators, though, Mattie, because it was too freaking cold.
Tour, girl. What you mean?
We went on a gator tour and there was no gators.
Wait, they took you on the airboats?
Yeah, we went on. Well, we decided to go on the pontoon boat. Thank God we didn't do the airboat because we would have freaking froze. It was super cold out. We went in February.
Oh yeah, but that's some good time. I mean, if you got the right gear, it's like going skiing. If you got the right gear, you'll be all right.
It's true. We're definitely gonna go back sometime. But yeah, next time I'm in Louisiana, I know to hit you up, and we're gonna have to go do some fun stuff in the South.
Absolutely, because girl, I have friends where I could take you to a gator farm. You want to see them? Like, I know where to go, especially with airboats and stuff. I also have family who does like offshore fishing, spear fishing, bow fish and all that. So if you ever want to go to the South and you need a plug, you just hit me up.
I'm here for it. I love it. I will definitely have to go back maybe sometime this either late summer or early fall to visit both you and Jess. But I think it's so incredible that you grew up in such a small town in Louisiana. It sounds like you did a number of both sporty things, which I can't wait to talk about shortly. Again, this is a sports podcast, so I'm sure people want to hear all about it. Love, love, love that you said you had so many freaking cousins that you didn't really need that many friends because you guys were all so close. Let's talk a little bit about Christmas time, because I know Christmas was one of your favorite holidays. Do you remember anything specific about that holiday from your childhood? Do you remember any gifts that you really freaking wanted and you ended up waking up Christmas morning and being like, holy crap, like I'm so happy that I got it? Let's talk about Christmas.
Okay, so of course, yeah, having a big family, we have to celebrate every other year. We can't really celebrate every year because it's insanely big. But I just remember, decorating the tree. Of course, my mom and I, we would go like look at Christmas lights. And I also remember my grandpa used to like, if you saw the Griswolds, right?
Yes, I did see the Griswolds.
Was basically like him. And he's very jack of all trade. Like he hand makes everything. And I just remember like, I don't know how we even had power because he would have so many lights. I remember him doing that. And just my family's just big on family. Like from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., we are with our family all day. Doing that was pretty memorable. So I got this mongoose bike. It was silver and lime green, and it had front pegs and back pegs. Girl, I remember getting it. And it was the bike I wanted because it had pegs so I can try to do tricks. And so when I got that bike, I remember you never got me inside. And then when I got my first four-wheeler, it was a Kawasaki Breeze. And then the muffler was messed up. So I sound like a train coming through. But I would pop some little wheelies on it. I'd hit the levee. And it was just, I stayed on that four-wheeler for every day, all day.
It's funny that you're mentioning the freaking mongoose because my brother and sister and I started a group chat with them yesterday, and we were just lightly talking about some fun memories from childhood. And one of them was this really awesome lake. Actually, it was more so a pond. It was called Pomp's Pond in Andover, Massachusetts, which is close to where I grew up. But we were also discussing like bikes. And I remember saying to them, I also had a mongoose. And I was like, hey, do you guys remember when I had that trick bike that had the pegs? And I never really tried to do tricks on it, but I had the pegs because I used to like pegging my friends and my brother and sister around.
Of course you did. Well, I mean, I'm no like you know, pro biker. When I mean do tricks, I mean I would stand on my back pegs and go, or like put my feet up on the handlebars, or like I would pull people, like tie a rope to my pegs, and then I would pull people down the street and stuff. So just some crazy country stuff like that. I mean, even riding the four-wheelers, we would literally hook up like a trash can top behind a four-wheeler and then go on the close to the levees on the property where my family had cattle. And we would like ride four-wheelers, and behind it, we would just have this little hydrosliding rope, and on the grass, just make them spin us in the yard. Like, I don't know how I'm alive.
It sounds like a fun time, though. It definitely sounds like you did not have a dull childhood for sure. And speaking of Christmas and having fun, I've never really asked somebody this before on the show, so you're going to be the first one. At what age did you find out Santa wasn't real? So hopefully no kids are listening to this. At what age did you find out Santa wasn't real, and how did you find out?
Okay. Oh my God. So I don't think I've ever shared this story before, but okay. So my mom used to always sign Santa. And I don't remember, I would say about like 7 or like 6, 7 around that time. I can't specifically be like, oh, and this year at this time, I realized he wasn't real. But I started to notice that Santa wrote a lot like my mom. And I was like, what is all that? Well, then I found all my presents. Well, my mom also taught me how to wrap presents. So that year, I ended up unwrapping all of my Christmas presents and wrapped them back. And that's when I knew Santa wasn't real, because I already saw everything I got for Christmas.
Oh my gosh, girl, it happens. It's why I was just curious to find out, like, when did you find out? How did you find out? Because I feel like that's everybody goes through that moment where they're like, what the heck? Like, I was just lied to for the first 10 or 12 years of my life. Mom.
Yeah. I can't, honestly, I don't really remember. God, I don't really remember exactly when I asked my mom about it, but it just kind of came. See, I was very also close with my sister. My sister is 3.5 years older than me. So it could be like when she found out, I found out because I was tied to her hip. So maybe something of that, but I don't remember saying, is Santa real? And like that whole experience. I felt like I just kind of knew.
Super cute. I love that answer. And I wanted to ask you a little bit before we switch into the sports topic. Again, you guys are listening to Mattie talk all about growing up in the South. It sounds like she had a fantastic time with her friends, her family. She just told us about how she found out that Santa wasn't real. And we are talking about all things childhood hobbies, like being a tomboy, which I definitely was too. I guess being a tomboy comes along with being competitive, getting into sports, and starting your own brand and getting into reality TV. So we will talk about all that as well. But Mardi Gras, if you grew up in freaking Louisiana, girl, you must have celebrated a couple Mardi Gras in your time. So discuss Mardi Gras. Did you ever celebrate it? And talk about some of your outfits that you've worn if you celebrated Mardi Gras.
Girl, laissez-les bon temps rouler. That means let the good times roll, of course. Did I celebrate Mardi Gras? Girl, I grew up on that. So here's a fun fact about Gaines, Louisiana, and it's Gheens if you ever want to Google it and find out. Where I grew up, we have, of course, the parades. But this town, it's completely crazy, but it's a product of my raising, and I wouldn't, live life without it. But okay, so after each float passes and after every parade, we have something called the Mardi Gras, where they come out. So 2 hours directly after everyone rides on the floats, all the boys 16 and up has to go and get dressed in a costume where they completely mask themselves, where they put bells on and completely dress up so you don't know who anyone is. Then they go and they have to be initiated into the Mardi Gras, because that's what we called them. And so they get little sticks and they have to whip you on the butt. And in order for them to stop whipping you, you have to say pardon, which is pardon. So it's like, please pardon me, stop whipping me. So as a little girl, after their parades, I would be chased with a stick. Okay. And of course I was a bad little girl. So I would like stick them the finger and then make them chase me just you can't catch me. And they would come and beat me down. But so they all get in a truck and they all ride to the back of Gaines, which is only like maybe a mile. And then they start from the last street and they slowly work themselves up, and they do it 2 rounds. So yeah, I've also done the small hometowns where we ride horses, throw bees, etc. And then I've also done Mardi Gras in New Orleans, where you have balconies and boobs are out, everybody's drinking hurricanes, and it's a wild one. So I been there, done that.
Sounds like a fantastic way to grow up for sure. I mean, especially being in such a small town, if you guys had that one thing to look forward to aside from the holidays and birthdays, having Mardi Gras to experience every year must have been absolutely incredible. I want to switch on over to talking about sports. Again, you guys are now listening to the Boss Babes Lifestyle Sports Podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Brittany Baldi. We are talking to Mattie Lynn Breaux, former reality TV star and entrepreneur. So sports. Girl, I know you must have watched sports as a kid. I know you played basketball and softball, so we will get into that in a quick sec. What sports did you enjoy watching with your family and friends? And were there any athletes in particular that you enjoyed looking up to or watching?
Well, I'm a football girl. Like, of course, I've played a lot of sports, but I'll be honest, I'm more into the athletes now. Like when I was younger, I didn't necessarily have, I have this athlete, this is who I aspire to be. I mean, I remember Nancy Kerrigan on ice skates. I remember thinking I could be that great. But as far as having that one person that was my inspiration growing up, I can't necessarily say as a child I'm more so like look up to those people now as an adult. But I'm football. I mean, we have Super Bowl parties. We have pool parties where we do a big old piece of white paper and you draw the whole football field, and every kickoff you put a quarter down, and whoever's close to where the football lands, you get all the quarters. So I grew up watching that. I mean, my whole family is a Saints fan. So like if you come to my town and you're not wearing a Saints jersey, they're going to talk shit. Of course, LSU baseball, all things Louisiana, of course. Basketball, I really, like I said, as a child, I can't say I stayed inside watching sports all the time. I was always outside swimming at the lake, stuff like that.
Watching and being a Saints fan and being involved with LSU and watching sports when you can, but it sounds like you were more outdoorsy. So with that, how did you get into playing the sport of softball and basketball? And it sounds like you played a little bit of travel ball as well.
Yeah, so I started, I think, very young when I started T-ball. And my dad was my coach. So, of course, it was like boys and girls. Started with T-ball. And then I started with softball. And then I actually was fairly good. I was a pitcher. So I played from that until I think I was 12 or 13. At 10 years old, I started really enjoying basketball. And then I tried out for Biddy basketball, which is you represent basically the town that you're in. So you have like close towns by you, and then you all compete. Well, then I made all-star basketball, which is travel basketball, where we start traveling around Louisiana. And so I played that I was on the all-star team for about 2 years, and should have played in high school. The coaches were all after me, but I just kind of lost it for a little while.
Well, it definitely sounds like you were a great little athlete and very competitive, whether you were playing sports or just going on your freaking four-wheeler and just crushing it, whether you're running from people with chasing you with the sticks. It sounds like all the athleticism came into play at some point in your life.
Oh, girl, my first fight I've gotten into was with my cousin because they were playing flag football and they needed one more person. So they made me play, but they wouldn't throw me the ball. So I took the ball and took off running from them. And so they like tackled me on the ground, and that was like my first fight.
Oh my gosh. You definitely had a very fun, eventful, competitive childhood, and I fully loved getting to know who you are behind the scenes and what your childhood was like and experiencing Mardi Gras and all that fun stuff. And I'm sure the listeners are ready to learn a little bit about your reality TV world. So we are going to hop right into that right now. So it looks like Mattie actually was not even involved in the audition process or didn't actually apply for these TV shows. She was actually found at a beach party. So I'm going to have her discuss that process in literally 2 seconds. But for those of you guys that don't know, she actually appeared on Floribama Shore, Party Down South was her very first TV show appearance, and she was on, I believe, a couple seasons of MTV's The Challenge, which obviously you guys know I competed on season 26. So let's get right into it, girl. What the heck do you mean by getting discovered at a beach party? I gotta hear this story.
Okay, so I'll start from like top to bottom. So, of course, I was married. I had just left my ex. We gotten a divorce. And my friend called me. He's like, you need to get out. You need to get out of that town. I need you to come to this beach party. So I go to this beach party. And of course, I'm freshly single. So your girl's got her bikini on, doing it. And I love to dance. Like, I can be anywhere in the world. And if my song comes on, one hand goes up and the booty's dropping down. Okay. And all of a sudden, I don't even remember this whole process. Okay. All of a sudden, these people come up to me. They're like, we're casting directors. I'm dancing on a speaker. I think I had on a horse head or some type of head. Like, you know, those where you can get those big masks, but it's like an animal head.
Yeah.
I had that on, and I'm just not having a care in the world. And apparently they introduced themselves to me and they're like, we have to get you on video. You know, we're this casting company. We're looking for people. And so apparently I took them on this beach tour. Girl, I think I even went to go down someone else's slippy slide, but they didn't have no soap on it. So I stuck, like I ran, took off running, went to hit the slide and just stuck there because there was nothing on it. So we did the process. I get a call a few weeks later and I never answered it because I wasn't aware of the number. And I'm like, oh, these student loans, I don't have your money. I'm not answering. Well, finally I answered and it was Sally Ann from 495 Productions. And they were like, we love you. We want to do an interview with you. Can you do a Skype call? I was like, yeah, let me go get some Patron and then let's make it happen. Next thing you know, I'm on a plane. Next thing you know, I am going to the house. So I was the last person to even be cast. I actually took someone's place. Like they had already had the full 8 people and then I was found. So like it happened very fast. And next thing I know, I'm in a house with 8 strangers and we are just living it up.
Oh my gosh. What a freaking story. You're over here saying that you're at a beach party. These people can't even see what your face looks like because you have a freaking horse head on your head. Like, I have never heard a more freaking wild story in my life, so I'm so happy that I just asked you that question. I think I need photos of you in this freaking horse outfit.
Girl, I never even asked to see that video because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I want to leave it in the past, leave it where it's at. But I'm sure somewhere somebody's got it of me. I think they have a little video of like probably on YouTube, but like I said, I don't go look at everything about myself because we are our own worst critics. So I just leave it where it is.
We all have our own stories about how we got found or how we started our reality TV journey. I won't talk about mine because people have already heard it on my podcast, but I love hearing you share your story. Of course. So I want to talk a little bit about Party Down South because that's the show that you started off on. At the age of 24, Mattie Lynn actually appeared on CMT's TV show Party Down South. It was actually produced by the same company that created MTV's Jersey Shore. I actually have never seen Party Down South, I don't believe. So what was the premise of that TV show? And do you have any funny stories from being on set? What are some of your top memories?
Changed my whole life. Of course, like you said, it's 495, but the premise of the show was we were all from the South. So we were right after Jersey Shore. So Jersey Shore hit. And then, so CMT wanted to get a lot of people because, of course, country music television. So they wanted to get 8 strangers from the South. Well, they did. They got 5 from Louisiana and then 1 from Mississippi and 1 from Orange Beach, Alabama. And basically very similar to The Real World and all these other reality shows. 8 strangers moved in. And then we just lived. But every season was a little bit different because I learned who I was. I learned what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. The cast and I had such an amazing connection. They also became my family. Even the producers, like, you don't realize how much goes into these reality TV shows. Like I worked with the same, camera guy, mic, audio guy, the same producers for 5 years. And they watched me grow up. You literally watched me grow up on TV. But I would say one of my favorite things that we did during Party Down South was we rode these sea ponies. where they literally have these horses and they tread water. So you just bring them out in the sea. And of course you can't do it that long because you can't leave the horse in the sandbar because they're too heavy. They'll sink. But just riding a horse in the ocean was incredible. And there's even more, but that's just one that I can think of right now off the top of my head.
That sounds literally fantastic. And I like how you talked about the fact that you not only did the viewers watching you on TV for 5 or 6 seasons, it sounds like you did, but you got very close to the cast and your crew because it's like season after season, you're showing up, people are getting to watch you. It's like, I don't necessarily like the TV show The Kardashians, but I'll use them as an example. A lot of them started off like Kendall and Kylie. When they first started off in that show, they were like freaking little kids, and now they're in their 20s. So it's kind of cool to watch people that start off on TV shows like yourself in your early 20s. Now you're in your 30s. People kind of get to watch you grow on TV. So I think that's super awesome that you're able to speak about it and talk about some of your top memories. Are you friends with any of the cast members still?
Oh, yeah. I still talk to Murray, Daddy, Tiffany, still my ride or die. So, yeah, we definitely made deep connections. Nothing like it was all for show. Like, you know, we've all been there through each other. We all have, like you said, we all have a story. And we really all connected and opened up in a way that was life-changing for all of us, you know. And they will constantly be a part of my life. Like, they're not going anywhere. They're stuck with me now. Voice.
I love it. They literally become part of your family. And I do feel like that too with some of my cast. It's like everybody stays in touch one way or the other. And I kind of like connecting with people that I might not have ever met before yet, like yourself, because we all kind of share that same bond and sisterhood of getting picked up and doing reality TV and dating other people on TV or in the limelight. And we all kind of share that same similar story. And I think it's awesome to connect with other people like yourself that have been on TV for so long. So again, I thank you for coming on this podcast. I'm sure the Boss Babes fanatics are fully enjoying this episode so far. You guys are listening to Mattie Lynn talk all about reality TV now. She actually got found at a freaking beach party at a young age, dancing around, having a good time. She had just newly come out of marriage, it sounds like, which I didn't even know that you were married. So that's cool that you just talked about that. And I know we're going to talk about MTV's The Challenge, but Floribama Shore, you joined during, I believe, season 3 after a castmate left the house because something happened where they had to get their tonsils removed or something like that. So what was it like being in the Floribama Shore house? How did you get chosen for that? And did you date anybody in either that house or on Party Down South?
As you know, girl, it's like, we call it, it's almost like a house fling. Because also going into these reality TV shows, what I want people to understand is you see what 8 hours, depending on how many episodes they may give you. Let's say they give you 12 episodes. You see 12 hours. I'm there 24/7 for 8 weeks. So you create these bonds with people and you're with these people 24/7. You start learning everybody and, you know, people are there for you because you don't have a phone, you don't have books, there's no internet, there's no TV. So all you have is each other. So for Floribama Shore, I met Gus because Gus and I did a challenge together. And then so Gus invited me to come spend the weekend with them for Pride Festival for Floribama Shore. So I did that. And then after staying with them for a weekend, they wanted me to stay and join the house. And of course I said, yeah, because, you know, I'm all about the party. I'm like, yeah, bring the Tito's. I'm on my way. And so I did that. And it was different because I think coming in at first, I think the cast thought I was competition when I was never a competitor. I just wanted to be a part of it. Whereas, you know, it was difficult to create a bond with them because they had already created a bond with each other. So you're talking, they're on season 3 and then here comes a newbie. But I remember how it was when we brought Hannah in for Party Down South. So I was like, you know, just be patient, be myself and let the rest, you know, happen natural. And that's when Jeremiah from Floribama Shore and I kind of really started getting along. He was kind of by himself and then I was kind of by myself. So we just kind of like bonded in that way. Of course, he like dumps me on national television, but you know, it's all lesson learned. It was a blessing in disguise. And It is what it is. He didn't really hurt my that bad. It was, oh, we call them showmances.
They're definitely showmances, and I will speak about that as well because a lot of people watched me on Are You the One, and mine was a very toxic relationship on that show. We won't get too much into it because a lot of people have already heard me talk about it on this podcast, but I agree with Mattie in the sense that they are definitely showmances. You're locked up in a house with the same people for months on end, days on end, hours at a time. You're not really allowed to make contact with the outside world, so you kind of are forced to be in this bubble and get to know these people. And some people end up getting married. Like, for example, in Are You the One season 1, my season of Are You the One, Amber and Ethan are married and have kids, but then there's some people that just date and then they end up breaking up after. So in some cases, relationships do work out, like Zach Nichols and Jenna Campono. Like, a lot of people end up dating and getting married and having kids after, but some people just have those showmances like Mattie's talking about, and there's nothing wrong with that. So that's cool. So you made some good friendships. You dated some people on the show. Are there any standout memories from being on Floribama Shore that you want to talk about? Anything funny that happened in the house that people didn't see on TV?
No, I mean, I think they covered the best part. I mean, of course, you know, the whole thing with Jeremiah, that was like my whole story. But no, that was kind of it.
Well, regardless, it sounds like you had a fantastic time on both of those TV shows. And I need to hit upon MTV's The Challenge. This freaking TV show has been on for so many years. Mattie was actually on season 36 because her and I were talking about it before we even started filming. She was like, holy cow, I did a season 10 seasons after your season. So she was actually on, I think your very first season was it World Worlds, or did you do a season before that?
No, so I started on season 33, War of the Worlds.
Perfect. So on your season, you were actually with Morgan Willette, who I just recently showcased on this podcast. She said you two actually became good friends. So I kind of want to have you talk about being in that challenge house, your friendship with Morgan, because I absolutely freaking love and adore Morgan. She is dating Johnny Bananas. Her episode of the BosBabes Lifestyle Sports Podcast is actually out right now. So after you guys are done listening to Mattie's episode, head on over, go listen to my episode with TJ Lavin, the challenge host. And I also have one with Morgan Willette. So lots of awesome reality TV people are coming on the show. I am so grateful for all of you guys coming on and sharing your stories. Yeah, back to Mattie. I want to know, what was your friendship like with Morgan or some of the other people in the house? And yeah, just talk about War of the Worlds.
Of course, I got contacted for the challenge. I'm like, oh, I'm ready. This is my cup of tea. You know, competition, like we said, you know, playing sports, I'm very competitive. So I'm like, I'm doing this, started training with my friend Jeremy Holtz, who does athlete training. So he started, you know, getting my butt ready in shape. And then, so all the rookies, so I started on a new season, on a new trilogy, which was called War of the Worlds. And obviously that's where I met Morgan. So we flew in, I think the flight was like over 36 hours. No showers, no nothing. They flew us in. Next thing you know, we are in the middle of Africa. But girl, I'm from South Louisiana. We have camps. We sleep outside. I'm like, oh no, what are we going to do? But I'm like, oh, I got this in the bag. So I started making friends there. We, you know, just started bonding. And of course, Morgan, we had kind of spoke to a few people, because once everybody on the challenge obviously finds out who's on the challenge, we start texting you like, yo, you're coming, you're coming. And I heard Morgan was going to be there, and I heard she was a good person. So her and I kind of connected, and then we started War of the Worlds, and then we had to pick partners. Morgan picked Johnny and I picked Kyle. Well, they were besties in the house. And of course, so did Morgan and I. And she's just a ball of fun. We would work out together, have girl chats. And just, of course, that season was a little bit difficult because I didn't know the history with Kyle. Kyle had previous relationships with Cara, and then Cara and Polly was in the house. So then I had a target on my back. So as a rookie, I was like nominated every time to go in. And then my elimination came up and I beat 2 girls. So then I got to go back in the house. First challenge, rookie year, made it to the final. I finished 7th out of, you know, the 8 of us, but I'm still proud about it. And it was an amazing experience. My favorite challenge, I would say, is it was two semi trucks, 18-wheelers, whatever you may call them, had to hit 50 miles an hour, and I'm harnessed into this pole. So I had to swing from my truck to Kyle's truck and give him these rings. Well, I end up flying across, just handing him the rings. We end up winning, and I end up sending multiple people home. So those were some great memories. I'm an adrenaline junkie, so anytime my heart's pounding out my chest, I love it.
That sounds freaking amazing. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that highlight clip. I know that TJ Lavin, that is one of his favorite challenges, is when it involves fast cars in the semi truck. So I'm sure he fully enjoyed watching you and Kyle dominate that challenge. And I love hearing that you and Kyle and Johnny and Morgan kind of all developed that awesome bond and friendship. I love watching Johnny and Morgan's relationship on social media. Again, she seems like a super freaking awesome, chill girl.
It started there. Like, I remember them flirting, and I remember like he would just massage her feet and do all this. I'm like, Kyle, what the hell? I don't have that kind of partner. Like, I'm in the way, and he's out here just. You saw the connection with them. Like, I didn't know if it was a showmance with those two, but it was so genuine too. Cause like after they went home, they stayed together. So as soon as I got out, I'm like, oh my God, give me the 411. And they're just super cute, and they balance each other out. And I'm just very, happy for them that they were able to make it work.
Yes, they definitely are making it work. And she actually, speaking of birthdays, you and her, it's like you guys are freaking soul sisters of some sort, because her birthday was a few days ago or this past weekend. So you guys, your birthday are like a week apart.
Yeah, we're both bulls. We're Taurus.
You guys are some type of soul sister on some type of level. Again, happy birthday to you and Morgan. Morgan is a friend of mine too, so shout outs to her. Would you consider doing another season of the challenge? Because I know that the BosBabes fanatics, and especially the challenge fanatics that are listening to this podcast, or that will listen to this podcast, they're probably going to want to know, can we see Mattie competing on another challenge at some point down the road?
If the time is right and everything falls into place, then yes, I would say yeah. I hate to say it, I don't see it happening, you guys, that they're going to call me back, of course. But you never know, you guys. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. So, of course, I'm going to be somewhere doing something. You never know. Stay tuned. You got to follow me on social media and find out.
Where is your social media? I know we're going to shout it out at the end of the show, but shout out your social media for people, because we're going to be wrapping up the reality TV talk shortly and actually hopping into the fact that you are an entrepreneur. So we're going to be talking about social media anyways, because on top of reality TV and growing up in the South and just being a fun, loving, fantastic woman that you are, you actually started your own brand called Unbothered. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to talk about that shortly. But Mattie, where is your social media? Where can people follow you?
Okay, so if they have a platform, you guys, I got it. I'm on TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and you can search me just by my full name, Mattie Lynn Breaux, MattielYnnBreaux, and I should pop up. And from there, you can go to my website, and from my website, on the link in my bio, it can take you to wherever you want to see of me that I have. So go check it out, and also give your girl a follow. I'm pretty fun on social media.
She does post a lot of great content, and a lot of it is in a swimsuit, or her representing her brand, or her partying and having a good time with her friends. Again, very, very amazing woman. I love following her social media, and I love Morgan's social media, because it looks like you guys are into your health and your fitness and just marketing yourselves in a positive light. And that is something that I enjoy following, which is, again, why I reached out to you to begin with to get on this freaking podcast. So again, before we get into Unbothered and what that means to you and why you started that brand, are there any last minute words about either reality TV or maybe some advice that you can give to people that are looking to getting into a reality TV show?
Yeah, absolutely. Just be yourself. You know what I'm saying? First, with social media and today's society, we forget that we are who we are, and we start trying to be like everyone else because we're comparing ourselves. But I want you to know, like, you see people's highlights. You don't see the cries, the tears, the blood, the sweat, all of that. And I just want you to know that people will love you for who you are. So don't be afraid to be open. If you're weird, be weird. If you're loud, be loud. You know, some people's not going to like you, but you don't like everybody else. So accept who you are, love who you are, and own that shit.
That's some fantastic advice from Mattie's mouth. If you guys are interested in getting on a reality TV show, being authentically you, and just showcasing who you are, I actually tell people that all the time when they ask me tips about getting on TV, or Morgan actually kind of said something similar. It's like, that's probably why we are all picked to be on these types of shows, is because we're not afraid to make new friends. We're not afraid to slide into people's DMs and be like, hey, come on my podcast, or hey, you're pretty. Like, I feel like a lot of people that are on reality TV, they make friends easily. They're authentically themselves. They like to party. A lot of us grow up and we learn from our mistakes. Of course, none of us are perfect, but we do like to just be ourselves and authentically showcase who we are. And again, Mattie, you are an excellent example of that. So let's hop right into it, because we are on the topic of being ourselves and being authentic. Mattie actually started a really awesome brand called Unbothered. The link for that is actually right in her Instagram bio. It's a brand that she started. I'm going to have her tell the story on why she started that brand. So she's also an entrepreneur. So let's just start it off. What does being unbothered mean to you? And her whole line is super freaking cool, actually. I might have to get a crop top hoodie from you. But you got visors, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, sweatpants, crop tops, you name it. She has it all right in her link on her Instagram. So kick it off, girl. What does unbothered mean to you, and why did you start this brand?
Well, first and foremost, being on TV sometimes could be difficult because you are in the public eye, which means good or bad. You know, with social media and society today, people, you know, previous mistakes or accidents that may have happened or thrown in your face, or if you don't look a certain way, people feel the need to troll you and speak to you in that way. And, you know, I realized after one season of TV, I was like wanting to get surgery, or wanting to get my nose fixed, or wanting to get all these other things added to my body because I felt like I wasn't good enough. And then that's when the idea of Unbothered came to me, because, you know, I had to realize I had to take a step back. I go from resets where I get off of social media if I feel like I'm being influenced a little too much, and I start changing my, or altering who I am as a woman. I call it a reset. And with Unbothered, it's a feeling of freedom. It's a mindset. It's a mood. And what I wanted with that is I want it to be a feeling for people, you know, and it's a unisex brand. So guys and girls, what I wanted was someone to put on that shirt and walk around, just be who they are and not care what other people think. Like I said earlier, not everyone's going to like you, but you don't need everybody to like you. We don't have time for everybody to like us, you know? So I wanted to create a brand where people could put on this shirt and be like, you know what? I'm a bad bitch. Or I'm that man, you know, I'm okay with who I am. I accept my flaws. I accept my past. I'm ready for my future, and just be unbothered by the opinions of others, because they don't mold you to who you are. Who you are inside and what you think of yourself is what molds you. So be you unapologetically, and live that unbothered mindset. And that's where it came from.
And I just wanted to ask you where that stemmed from. And I loved hearing that because, again, myself being on multiple reality TV shows and being immersed in the limelight at a young age can kind of affect you both positively and negatively, as you just talked about some of the downfalls of, oh, should I get my lips done? Do I need to get my boobs bigger? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? When in reality, you're people that are listening, and that's why we're giving these tips. It's like, you're beautiful just the way you are. You got on that TV show for a reason, girl. You're gorgeous. You're confident. You make friends easily. You don't need to go out and do this, this, and that to make yourself a better person, because people already like you for who you are. Now, if you want to go out and wear fake eyelashes like I like to do it, if you want to get your lips done or your boobs done, there's nothing wrong with it. Who cares? At the end of the day, as long as you do what makes you feel good about yourself and you're happy with who you are, that's all that matters. So again, if you guys are interested in following Mattie, please do so on her social media. She does have the Unbothered brand. The link is actually tagged right in her personal Instagram. But is there a website? Shout out your website. Where can people purchase these items?
If you click the link in my bio, you can also go to www.mattielynbreaux.com/shop. I also have an unbothered Instagram handle. I love seeing everyone in their unbothered gear. I also feature everyone who sends me pictures. So that's also Unbothered by Mattie Lynn. But again, you can find it at www.mattielynbreaux.com/shop.
Perfect. So again, guys, you heard it right from Mattie. If you guys are interested in purchasing any of her awesome items, head to her website. And do you have any new items coming out in the future, or do you have to kind of keep that a secret?
Oh yeah, we're just getting started. I mean, I've been holding on to Unbothered for over a year and a half, and I was about to drop it and COVID hit. So it's been sitting there. So you guys, we're just getting started. So we just released some socks. So some Unbothered socks. We just did bucket hats, visors. But it's basically just an apparel line. If you want it on a coffee mug, I'm gonna put it on a coffee mug. So like, don't bother me. I haven't had my coffee.
Probably gonna head on over there and scoop up one of the crop top hoodies myself.
Oh girl, I got you. Just send me your address.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You are fantastic. I'll do some social media shout outs for you. Hey guys, please head on over to Mattie's Instagram. Go check out her awesome brand, because again, we're all about women empowerment and showcasing entrepreneurs and positivity. And again, I thank you so much for coming on here, talking all about the fact that you grew up in the South. You sound like you had an incredible childhood. You did a lot of fun, crazy, wild things. You experienced Mardis Gras, you name it. You did all of it. And before we wrap up the show, you guys all know that here on the BosBabes Lifestyle Sports Podcast, I love talking about how my special guests give back. So, Mattie, how do you love to give back to the community? I know you've done some fashion shows to raise money, and you've donated to certain charities and whatnot and foundations, and you also did something involving the Nashville tornado. So can you please discuss that for us?
Yeah, of course. Like I was telling her earlier, I don't necessarily have this one charity that I started, which in the works as well. I don't have a charity that I strictly work with right now. I just, am obedient. If God tells me to give or I need to be there, then that's where I go. When the tornadoes hit in Nashville, I was in LA, and I immediately flew home and worked like 12 hours a day just cleaning up the city, because it was businesses, people's homes. I grew up where there's hurricane territory, so I know what it's like to, have something taken from you so quickly. So I give back in those ways. I also, like you said, I did a fashion show to help raise money for cancer awareness. I also am really involved in like my church. So back home in Louisiana, I do a lot of like stuff for Christmas or Thanksgiving, just donating time and money so that I can help my little small town family out as well.
That's fantastic. I love hearing how you give back to your community. You guys are listening to Mattie talk all about how she gives back to a number of communities. And again, a big part of this podcast is showcasing not only what people do both on and off the field, if you're a pro athlete or an athlete's wife or girlfriend or a reality TV star like Mattie, it's important what they do, obviously, for their work, but it's also even more important what they do outside of work and how they use their platform to give back. So I love hearing how you do that, Mattie. And I guess my next question before we completely wrap up the show, I can't believe it's been almost a freaking hour. You've been crushing it. And I told you from the jump that we were going to have fun on this and that it was going to fly by.
I know. I'm like, I thought we've covered everything already. I'm like, don't, what am I supposed to do now?
I know it flies by. It really does. That's why I was like, girl, just get on the podcast. Trust me, you're going to have fun. Like, it's going to be a good time. I'm glad you're having fun and you're smiling and showcasing everything that you have done thus far. Any top goals that you have coming up in the future? Any more TV shows that you might try out for? Do you want to collaborate with any certain brands? Basically, what is up for Mattie in the next couple months, the next couple years?
Oh, girl, like I said, I'm just getting started. I'm still discovering each and every day who I am as a woman. And I'm really taking my passions and pursuing them and trying to make, whether it be products, brands. I'm about the dollar sign. So if I can make money, I'm all about it. Of course, fitness is very important to me. So I have some products coming out really soon. I can't really talk about it yet because we're still working on the campaign, but that's coming out. I have a calendar coming out in August. I have some other products coming out, of course, with fashion. I'm collaborating with a few brands, but of course I can't spill all the tea, but just know I got some hot items coming for you guys this fall. And as far as brand goes, I am very open to certain brands. Of course, my lifestyle, I'm adventure, I'm fitness. And, if I can't get the brand, I'm gonna make the brand. And I like the process of making the brand, but I'm a huge Alani Nu. Have you ever tried Alani Nu?
I have not. I have not. So tell me about it.
Oh my God. They have the best like protein shakes. I love their fruity, it's a fruity cereal. Protein, the collagen. I use it's one a fitness bar is called Munchies. So I'm obsessed with that brand. I love also like raw juices. Every day I have a green juice or a beet juice. So I'd use a lot of those products. And then JLux Label, there's this brand. They also have an app. It's JLUX Label. When I tell you it is affordable and fine, good quality fashion, you are going to freak out. And I'm also like the Amazon queen, honey. If I could get it shipped, I'm on it.
I love it. So it sounds like you love a lot of different types of brands, and it sounds like you enjoy creating your own stuff. And I feel like that's a big part about being involved in the reality TV world and having that competitive mindset is just how do we like focus on ourselves and create brands, but also learn how to collaborate with others. And I'm kind of tapping into that myself. So again, I commend you for doing that as well. And I hope to work alongside you in the future, as well as Morgan.
We need a girls' retreat.
We do. We definitely need a girls' retreat. We do. I'm here for it. What are some of your favorite game day eats, whether it's you and your family just hanging out or chilling, or you just mentioned that you enjoy collagen and protein shakes, but when you're just hanging out, whether it's just you having a glass of wine, what are some of your favorite game day eats?
Oh, girl, I'm a sucker for, I'm a pizza-holic. Like every Sunday, Pizza Hut, they know me by name and they know my order. It's pretty embarrassing, but I just love it. I get the thin and crispy and I don't feel bad about it. Like I will work my butt off on Monday just so I can have that pizza. But I also love wings, but I only like the drums. So if you come around me, please, drums only. I also like queso. I'm a queso queen. I would bathe in it if they allowed. I'm serious. It's getting bad. And what's another like game day? Oh, obviously like Michelob Ultra. I'm a Michelob Ultra girl, so a good cold beer. But it has to be out of the can. You got to pop the top, and it's different when you sip it out of a can. And what's some other stuff? I'm not a big seltzer girl. It makes me like burp and stuff.
All about the queso. Love me some wings. And girl, if you want to make sure that you get an extra mile in or two that following Monday or Tuesday after you eat your pizza, have your freaking pizza. You only live once, right?
Absolutely. Listen, I've learned, especially these last few years, like if you want something, eat it. Because if not, I'm going to find a way. I'm going to eat it in calories and healthy food. So I just soon enjoyed the pizza. So
there you go. Enjoy the pizza. For those of you guys that are listening, enjoy that pizza. You only live once. And just walk an extra mile or two and you'll just burn that pizza off anyways. What is your positive pop? I love asking my special guests what happens to be your positive pop, whether that's a positive mantra or a song that you like listening to, or if you're into spirituality, do you like to meditate? What is Mattie Lynn's positive pop?
Oh, girl. Yeah, I love these conversations. So I'm definitely into meditations. I just got some healing crystals. I also I have morning routines to set myself up for success. But I also have my mom. So there's this mantra, be you, be true, do you, for you. I used to go film when I was living in Louisiana, and I would unpack my bags when I would film TV show, and my mom stuck sticky notes all over in my bags. And that's where I got be you, stay true, do you, for you. And it just stuck with me because, be yourself, and don't do it for anybody else. Do it because you deserve to do it and you are worthy of that. And then and slowly as I'm getting older, I'm also learning to quiet my mind, that the answers come from within, not from out there. I won't find it on Instagram. I'm not going to find it on Twitter or TikTok, all that. I'm going to find it when I sit in stillness and listen to myself and actually trust my own instincts. And meditation has helped that a lot. And I'm all about quiet time. So in the morning I wake up, I either play worship songs or a good feel good song. Like right now I'm obsessed with Brett Eldridge. It's called Good Day. It just makes you dance. You wake up, you're like, it's gonna be a good day. And when you surround yourself with that type of mindset, you start believing and you start feeling it. And so I do little tasks like that, or I read daily devotionals, or I normally do a gratitude journal, 3 things I'm grateful for, why I'm grateful for them. That way I set my frequency to gratitude, and I have a lot of tricks. So I don't want to go too deep into it, but
No, I love all that. I'm all about, actually, Morgan and I talked about it too, having the gratitude journal and doing the positive affirmations and just raising your vibration. And it's kind of amazing to hear that so many people that I've been talking to lately do a lot of the same things that I do. So I don't know if that's just like us growing from experiences that we've been involved with when we were younger, whether that be getting in the limelight so young, or experiences that we had when we were younger, or certain traumas or situations. But I love hearing how you as a woman, you have evolved and you have grown and you've learned from different, both good and bad situations, just like we all have. And I loved everything that you just shared with me on this episode today. That's some excellent positive pop. For those of you guys that are interested, again, in getting to know Mattie, please shout out your social media so people can follow you on social media and potentially buy some of your awesome items as well.
Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram, Mattie Lynn, Lynn Breaux, Breaux. And from there, hit the link in my bio. It could take you to Unbothered. It'll take you to my TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. I'm on there, and I'm very active, and it's me you're talking to. So come say hello, give your girl a follow, and check out Unbothered.
Well, thank you so much, Mattie, for coming on. And thank you to the listeners. You guys are incredible. I love all my Boss Babes fanatics. Please stay tuned. We have so many great episodes coming up this summer. You guys all know that I talk to a lot of pro athletes, reality TV competitors like Mattie, and of course, athletes, wives, and girlfriends. I love showcasing all the different angles of sports. So, Mattie, keep rocking it, girl. I look forward to having you back on here at some point to catch people up on some new products that you're doing, or maybe if you get on another TV show. You rock. And again, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.